which I say, so which you 3,000 now? They chat 1 year.
Red. And the budget is
becoming more like a mafia situation where if you are not very careful, it's going to engulf all of us.
Ghana's Galamsey fight has a hidden engine, a pay-to-destroy syndicate operating in the shadows.
If it's somebody must be in prison, it's those district chief executives and ministers and others who are doing the Galamsey.
Ghana's illegal mining crisis has taken a darker turn. Despite promises, policies and political declarations, the destruction rages on. Our rivers run brown, our forests are hollowed out, and our communities choke on poisoned water and abandoned pits. For years, illegal miners have been blamed. But what if the real crisis is not merely the illegal miners, but an institutional marketplace where government officials turn environmental destruction into a revenue stream?
Tax forces can never be said as fighting illegal mining, but rather extorting monies and creating problems.
In this documentary, we expose the coordinated extortion scheme, now an organized network involving district authorities, NADMO officials, and a district chief executive himself. A network stealing from the people, enabling illegal mining, and accelerating the environmental genocide unfolding across forests and river systems in the Amansie Central District of the Ashanti region.
They have actually also more or less evolved certain methods, certain technologies where they can combine all manner of metals and cause damage to the brain, they can cause damage to the kidneys, they can cause damage to the liver, they can cause damage to the lungs, they can cause damage to the gastrointestinal tract, and the eventual effect is that this patient may end up developing cancers.
If the president is so minded in fighting illegal mining, then it should start with his appointees. And by appointees, I always refer to the MMDCs, because many of them are neck deep in Galamsey corruption.
According to the Forestry Commission, 44 out of 288 forest reserves have been invaded and harmed. Beneath the crisis are acts of bribery and corruption, illegal payments, extortion, sanctioned by those elected and appointed to protect our resources. Our investigation began as whispers of an organized extortion scheme kept resurfacing, with stories shared quietly among miners who speak only in cautious tones. The fragmented accounts pointed towards a task force allegedly operating under the authority of the district chief executive of Amansie Central, Emmanuel Obeng Ajeman. According to the patterns we observed, miners were said to be paying 3,000 Ghana cedis for every Chanfan machine, one leg as it is termed, while others pay 30,000 Ghana cedis and more for every excavator in usage. Our investigation also uncovered receipts and warrant stickers being issued to guarantee uninterrupted illegal operations when payments were made.
The whole decision, I know more country and good police for them. Even though it's all my year to open a senior, and the woman that will miss it, says Cadeta 700. 700 million.
say if I know ya do for you, and no ya there, and attack me so come fast with
These allegations demanded the deeper inquiry, but our strongest evidence came from a recorded phone call with the district chief executive. In the tape, he confirms that the tax force collects monies and that it operates under his instructions.
Assembly may as DC, Mama na start when you're so on on our mining desk officer. It is a Aquanian, send us yan and dia fine, ye can't answer. And I'm going to say, the Benya already complaints is here. Or started Maui almost 1 month on one leg. Miners are on your many encounter. My friend, almost 20. One more friend encounter. Obi a wa friend bi eni ho a me ma people on dia friend malam me ka che ne say ene ne nko kasa na ya ma ne 2 minutes so onje.
It is at this point that we confirm the cash payment in exchange for Galamsey. Undercover, we infiltrated the Jakobu Township, the seat of the district assembly, posing as illegal miners operating at Eskesu, one of the mining communities. It is time for us to uncover the loot. We secretly filmed every process and navigated the community on motorbikes. The assembly is where we intend to make payments and confirm every illegal mining scandal. Our undercover operation led us to Philemon, a receptionist at the district assembly. He greeted us and with apparent willingness agreed to help us procure a warrant sticker for our Galamsey operation. He called one district engineer who would later send us contact to the mining desk officer himself.
Bajo, I am Kophobia Bason come with just take out. I am more receptionist.
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Boss Bacho, okay, you're baby to stick out.
Okay, to stick out. And Onim, Mame, Odemodion, Mame, Miss Officer Linkasawai. It is no matter man and I'm money in the Panakasa. Why?
All right.
Yeah, trusting her.
Hours passed as we waited for the mining desk officer and leader of the tax force, a man known interchangeably as Red, Malam or Nana, who also served as the community's chief imam. Our wait was prolonged because he was reportedly out on an operation collecting the tax from illegal miners. Payments were allegedly collected on Mondays and Wednesdays alone. Later, we managed to speak with the head of the mining desk on phone. He confirmed the 3,000 Ghana cedi payments for chamfan machines and instructed us to wait for his arrival, which was very uncertain.
Pacho chamfan bako.
Chamfan na oka.
Pachani.
1 leg no.
Pachani.
We get me back from why?
Pacho.
The fight yeah.
The fight.
No, the fight
yeah. Ebecha na ke pesi kobe bikakra.
45 minutes to 7 minutes.
Wow. Asemo. Ukina kabekwa ni ntumi nhia wo. Because he be say ke kokuma ase.
It's weird you would say that a state that has called, irresponsible mining terrorism is then at the same time facilitating this through what is seemingly even state sanctioned, right? Because there are receipts that are involved. It means that the state infrastructure is accounting for its support and its own implications into it. So it's a strange arrangement where the state now is in itself an illegal miner.
Our investigation points to serious breaches of the law by state officials entrusted to protect the public. Under the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, facilitating or providing cover for illegal mining constitutes a criminal offense. Evidence gathered shows that officials who offered protection and collected payments may have crossed the line from regulators to accomplices. These actions potentially violate the Criminal Offences Act 1960 Act 29, which criminalizes corruption and abuse of public office, as well as the Public Financial Management Act 2016 Act 921, which prohibits unauthorized collection of public funds. The conduct of the District Chief Executive also raises questions under the Local Government Act 2016 Act 936, while the environmental damage may contravene the Environmental Protection Agency Act 1994, Act 490. With our investigation at the assembly corroborated, we proceeded to some of the illegal mining sites at Eskesu. Here, the environmental destruction is starkly evident. Farmlands are gone, water bodies choked with sediment. At Eskesu, we met some illegal miners who detailed the exact process for making payments for Chamfan machines.
One machine of money over 20,000.
Into no excavator bako
30,000, 40,000, 30,000, 300 million.
Masa.
One, and this would tell me, you know, book my doing 50,000, 60,000. Wow.
And a Chamfan,
Chamfan is 3,000.
That's a local issue.
And on the credit from a year, but this year in Africa. From your Saturday again, or money, but this year, you know, master to be anybody. I know master TV.
I know your wine policy excavator 3,000, your wine policy managed by
your policy, a best system. Not just the MPP come and the system. Also, on my new for Galamsey, blast, who was something nobody. I do is a wish you cannot. So much as I do yesterday. I'm going to get the phone number. I do miss Galamsey in the end. So, any assembly, I'm revenue. Our brother is here.
The president needs to crack the whip on MMDCs within their localities. They are the superintendent heads of whatever happens at the local level. And mind you, Galamsey is not happening in Greater Accra. It's happening in the hinterlands. The communities where these MMDCs are caretakers and they hold power within that locality.
The consequences of this alleged extortion is palpable. While the country grapples with the Galamsey crisis, the Amansia Central District becomes a microcosm of how corruption can paralyze progress. This miner, Kofi Wusu, angry yet helpless, told us that his men were arrested because he hadn't paid to register his machines.
And the budget is coming. Makulata, more than 3 hours. That time I'm up before best at 9:30 to 8 o'clock to I have a Juma. And now almost almost 3,000. Among my receipt in your forgery paper. By date required December January. Now what can be 1 year 30 million now by date 2 months.
Almost 30 million.
3,000. Me almost me bra. One machine you 3,000. I have. One machine you 3,000. Me mopa me contract enko jakubo district wo. Me red. Me just red. Una be kama me. O se na yan red ya fe na imam. Se ko si aye na ye divide ye say. In say enipa na tutu na ba wo so obebu awo de. Sen ye nka ya sempa. Ye nya ye decide say a month or so 2 million. Yeah. Maybe you are media. So what you are saying? I knew that. Odo to be at the obin feature and some high you. Any 2 weeks or any week to go and red so by. Red the catcher, I said, as to one human as soon. National security for human.
At his site, the extent of destruction is overwhelming. Forest reserves torn apart, farms are buried under mud. Yet, he operates freely because he has paid to destroy the land.
Police too, police for almost 7 for. I didn't say you have police for me. You look at. Panya police in a better red Nankasana. So we are not doing my police. No police. Let me say,
Now we need to know.
Oh, you have 3,000 and no Mujano. As I don't say, I say, maybe or no, so I'm going to go to a machine and the machine for so and sana omuda wo amapo.
At Mile 9, one of the communities near the Koboro section of the Apaprama Forest Reserve, the sounds of these champagne machines are loud. We posed as new miners seeking guidance. These two illegal miners welcomed us with the frankness of people long accustomed with working outside the law.
I didn't do no much, no.
The people were in for say, Nema Mino, Obiansuno. On tracker me and had your bunch and one son Jacob. I quite a cocoa chia. A true answer said, Obia Mohadama said, ye, or more attack will be Sabia, or more Bagiscan as it is.
And 3,000 now. What's Mukotiazen?
3,000.
Purchase of one leg sticker for 3,000.
As we arrived at the assembly for yet another attempt to complete our payments, we met a woman seated quietly in front of the building. What looked like an ordinary visit would soon reveal a story that exposed the cruelty of the system we had come to investigate. She was an illegal miner. Her machines had been seized earlier this morning, and like many before her, she had come here in desperation, not for justice, but for permission.
Now, oh, yeah, mama. Yeah, where's this? One leg. Yeah, oh, I think I never shall say.
According to no so means the machine is here. This might be trying to be trained.
She told us that the district chief executive himself had directed her to return only after seeking approval from Red, the very man orchestrating the illegal collection.
This is.
Because when I go you on mine, your friend is on.
This is it's me to
Institutions are not working. The institutions are implicated. And politicians have figured out that, you put a few party cronies in these institutions, then the entire machinery blocks.
We returned to the district assembly to make our payment. This time, we were directed to the revenue office where we met Benjamin Akono, a revenue officer. We presented ourselves again as illegal miners seeking to register our chamfan machines.
The impunity supported by local authorities who are supposed to be fighting this. So which policeman or woman is going to fight that? No, nobody is going to fight it because the head of the District Security Council is endorsing it.
But on this day, payment could not be made. The tax force, we were told, was conducting sweeps for miners who had not yet paid for their machines.
Mining for me and the Chawachina.
Oh.
Our final day of the investigation arrived. We were now ready to do the unthinkable, which is to pay for the registration of a chamfan machine that only existed for the purpose of our investigation. This time, Benjamin leads us into the residence of Red, where the transaction would begin, not the district assembly. Inside Red's residence, a surprise awaited us. We met 2 NADMO officers, including the Deputy NADMO Director for the municipality. Everyone was here for one reason, to buy stickers that permit illegal mining.
Chairman, you will you. My wedding, I will remove. The boss, you will remove. If they were never catch us, any other way. Office.
We are seated, waiting for Red. We count our 3,000 Ghana cedis ready to be handed over to him for our stickers and receipts. Red arrived after 30 minutes. Phones were forbidden in his inner office, where we will meet him. Search is conducted, even on NADMO officers who are accomplices. After 30 minutes of engagement, Red directed that Benjamin leads us to a rural bank where final payments will be made. On our way to the bank, we engaged Benjamin further. He explains why we will not be giving a sticker, but a bank receipt to affirm payments. Benjamin further confirmed how millions of cedis are taken from miners who operate on water bodies. He says the prices are fixed at the assembly.
Tibuye wonsu ma be tiare say.
Ba mo chiba jin ba ha bia. Sika be dia do. I don't know what I say. Who do you say or the price? Who you say or the price? Who the price? That's the situation of my yard transfer brother. Yeah, what the price?
It's assembly now kasa creative prices at all for baby a we ejuma.
I said the fix no fish for
no, 15,000 naira, you know, for machines, man.
Why do I do 6 years? I did this more.
And then a boarding.
Filming every aspect of payment with precision, Benjamin leads us into the rural bank. At the bank, Benjamin himself took the 3,000 Ghana cedis and deposited it into an account labeled Main IGF. Every step was filmed, he receiving the cash, filling the deposit slip, and even the teller processing it. Benjamin made photocopies of the bank receipt and handed a copy to us. We have now successfully purchased registration. Proof that this was not an unofficial backdoor operation, but an organized, systematic revenue pipeline built into official financial structures. The deeper we went into the investigation, the more we uncover the extortion network. This time, we visited the NADMO office hours later. Here, we met Evans Amankwa, the municipal NADMO director, the same officer whose men we had earlier seen at Red's residence. He welcomed us without hesitation, fully aware of our mission because one of his men had told him about us. He inspected the receipt we had from the bank.
Well, you're outfit here. You're in my reclamation. You say 1 line for most of my problems. I'm baby, I'm free grateful for machine bay area. I'm friend on Kataso. And I cut that way was one son. The bad operations as well. One country be
This direction was to confirm the amount to be taken. His officer, in another meeting room, requested that 2,000 cedis be paid to avert any ambush from NADMO officials. next week. See, next week Monday nearby Nanka. Everyone director so everyone yabani ye. Say name on budget 1,000 Nanka or the 1,000 Nanka in Nanka say and the way danas Nanka every Monday in Nanka. After negotiating, he agreed to the 1,000 cedis. This was paid to the lead negotiator at the director's office. A sticker available to us is dated 18 August 2025 and marked number 097, which belongs to one of the miners.
Where date now was 18 August 2025.
How much did you say?
3,000 per each. If you are two, the back or boy back.
So you mean 6,000?
6,000.
So we know what the ball machine was. I'm bad then, man.
Almost a more 6 months. If you get date now, January almost have a couple from
one leg, you know. Yeah. Last meeting, you know. Almost I say, yeah, started. And yet, and charge it most sticker. In addition to excavator. And see, I come and see, but not gazetting. And I was a and Sana, yesterday, I did it. And after that meeting, no, me and Mama authorization some printed stickers, no. Na on my site. Na the woman, year, no. A year, I think 6,000 or so.
1 leg, no?
Yes. Now it's 3,000 for every 6 months. And I'm going to say a year last 6 months of the year. First part, no, I share. And a year. And sometimes it's kind of hard. And I almost did it.
This offends 1,000 regulations and more. Not only in terms of financial management within the country, in terms of, approvals that need you to be engaged in a business endeavor like this. But it's and this is one of the things that I'm actually also interested in seeing the repercussions of this. Whether or not what you're going to find is that these are monies that are going into the assembly's coffers, or that the assembly itself has transformed itself into some agent that is just doing private business, using the facade of the assembly to cover.
Knowing the damage these machines could cause to the land, the DCE insisted on why the payment must be done.
In fact, 1 leg in India, Yamian Ukraine. Munchashi, but Mupa,
education behind my side, showing them who was that?
And Nunti and assembly, education, I was a taxi 1 leg. When you say, and I'm say 1 leg in the end taxi or Montino. I'm more using what is like a getting in a guy to toss more China and then on the edge.
What you call inchoate liability, which means that those who support, promote, assist in any way any of the offenses that are committed against the environment in terms of Galamsey, you are as responsible as the persons who are participants in it and can go to jail to the same level. And my hope is that, in fact, for those who are public servants or public officials who are implicated in this, that they suffer twice the penalty.
The argument of raising funds for internally generated activities, to me, is bogus. You do not use criminal activity to raise funds at the local level. It's just like saying that when armed robbery is rife and the municipal assembly needs to tax armed robbers to generate funds internally for projects within the area. This is a criminal act.
Illegal mining in Amancia Central is not merely tolerated, it is administered, it is prized, it is receipted, it is banned, and it is protected by the very people sworn to stop it. The fight for Ghana's environment, for its water, for its future, cannot be won if the fight against Galamsey is itself compromised by those in power. The people of Amansia Central, and indeed all Ghanaians, deserve better. They deserve honesty, integrity, and decisive action against those who exploit their land, forest, water bodies, and their livelihoods for personal gains.